Welcome back to the channel. My name is Alex. You can call me Mars if you want. And today I'm sitting down to watch and react to the two Chappell Roan performances that were on Saturday Night Live. Now, she is an electrifying live performer, so I know that these are going to be good, but I'm sitting down right now to do this because I've had a few people actually text me and say, like, you gotta watch these performances because they're that electrifying. So that is what I'm here doing right now. She performed Pink Pony Club and a new song called The Giver, but I've also seen people call it She Gets the Job Done. I'm really excited to check these out because Chappell is one of the best live performers we have in 2024. I have a little confession to make, is that I still to this day have never listened to The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess in full. And I know that that is such a red flag, and you're probably thinking, like, how in the world has he still not listened to this album in full? And it's not for like any specific reason that I'm avoiding it. I just realized after earlier this year when Chappell was starting to blow up and then Good Luck Babe came out, which I still stand by as one of the best pop songs of 2024. I then started hearing Pink Pony Club. I know Red Wine Supernova. And then I think like one or two others I've heard just like in the background of places I've been. But I knew that once I realized I haven't actually listened from start to finish, that I was going to save it to do it for a reaction because I know how much you guys would love that. So I've also like hinted at it before and people say that they want to see it. So I'm just waiting for the right time to sit down and just react to the full album. But for right now, we're going to watch the two performances and see how they are. Looks sick. Look at that stage design. It's wild how SNL's like stage performance budget has changed over the years. This is like a whole other world compared to what it used to be.
I know you wanted me to stay, but I can't ignore the crazy visions of
She looks sick.
I'm having wicked dreams of leaving
The melody is so
Tennessee. It's Santa Monica, I swear it's calling me. Won't make my mama proud, it's gonna cause a scene. She sees you, baby girl, I know she's gonna scream. God, what have you done? You're a pink pony girl, and you dance at
The rock elements coming through with that guitar. She sounds great. It's wild that a song about this subject matter and as blunt and transparent these song lyrics are is such a hit. Like, that's incredible. So descriptive. Like, you can picture everything she's talking about. Yeah. I feel like this is going to be one of those songs, one of those anthems that stays around for a while. It's really impressive the way that Chappell is able to command a stage. Like, she is so at home on the stage. It's really like remarkable, especially for someone who doesn't have the most stage experience. It's really impressive.
1,000 miles away, sing it!
Whoa! Oh my god, I have chills. This is crazy. When does this ever happen on SNL? That is when you know you have a hit. That's so impressive. Wow. Like, that is just pure confidence radiating from Chappell. And SNL is a hard place to perform. The acoustics are different. Like, it's a very intimate audience. It can be very intimidating. Immediate highlights. That crowd, that energy was spectacular. When is the last time that you've heard an audience connect like that on SNL where they're singing the chorus of the song for her? Like, that's something that happens at her own shows, at festival performances. That isn't something that usually happens on Saturday Night Live. That's really cool. Like, sent chills all over my body hearing the audience connect so much. The fact that she's less than a year into like this stage of her career, to have that level of crowd control and like stage presence and confidence is really remarkable. And it only further shows how born for this she really is. It's almost a shame that it took as long as it did for her to reach this level of success, because I just would have loved to have this years and years of it, you know? That was really cool. Okay, we're going to do The Giver now. Now, I did see a quick little snippet of it, and I know that it's country, which I'm not obviously the biggest fan of country music, but having an artist like Chappell with her lyrics, with her storytelling, with how proud and bold she is and comfortable with her own identity and their community that she represents is something that country music really, really could use a taste of. So I'm curious to see how this song is. Whoa, full country. The fiddle. This is very country right out the bat. Whoa, she looks cool.
Ain't got antlers on the horse, but I sure know maiden calls on the stalls and the bars on a Friday night.
Whoa, pausing. I ain't got antlers on the wall, but I do know mating calls for the bar on Friday night. Is that what she said? Like right out the bat. That's a lyric right there.
Other boys may need a mouth, but I can close my eyes and have you wrapped around my fingers like that.
Yeah, and even her voice there, that little inflection, that little like crack is very country. I love that little twist. Look at those bears in the background. This is so completely different from what I was expecting Chappell to do as the next move, which is so on brand. Like, you shouldn't expect anything because everything is so bold and all over the place in the best way. A lesbian country anthem. Going for the country element is accomplishing like two things. One, country music, obviously huge boom in 2024, putting your mark on it, and in a way that is so undeniably true to Chappell.
All you country boys saying you know
Spoken
how to
bridge.
treat a woman right. Well, only a woman knows how to treat a woman right.
It just really feels like there were no restraints when making music with Chappell.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I do. You're welcome.
You're welcome. Good for her. It just really feels like there were no restraints when making music with Chappell. Her new country single. That was so beyond like what I was expecting for Chappell's next move to be, because when you look at what's been successful from like a macro view, you have pop music that is transparent and honest and vulnerable and authentic, but it has some like 80s influence there and the synth work on a song like Good Luck Babe, but like some core orchestration in there too, and have the violins in there. It feels very like properly composed, and The Giver does something very similar. It feels incredibly well composed, but instead of leaning into like medieval orchestration, I'm using medieval just because like it reminds me of medieval times, that place like where you go on a school field trip. It is instead, it's keeping the authenticity, it's keeping like transparency and rawness and like that pure Chappell energy, because who else would be putting out a song that's a lesbian country anthem? It's the same like core elements of what makes a Chappell song, but in a completely different lane than I expected her to go to. Transparently, I figured like, because of all the issues that country music has traditionally had with LGBTQ rights and like not being so inclusive, and look at what happened with Beyonce at the CMAs, and there's a consistent move away from pop stars, but what Chappell's doing is like grabbing it and saying, I'm not letting you do this. Like, I'm taking you on and I'm gonna have the best damn time doing it. Those are the two performances of Chappell Roan on SNL from the other night. I still, like I said at the beginning, need to do a full in-depth listen and reaction to The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess. So I'm thinking once we see how well she racks up those Grammy noms, that would be like a good celebratory moment to do the long overdue listen with, on, whatever that preposition is. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Oh, and there's one more thing. For those of you who made it to the very end of the video, I guess I will formally announce this little secret project that I've been teasing for like 6 weeks now. I officially am starting a podcast, and the podcast is called Live from Mars, you know, staying true to the brand vision. The podcast is launching Friday, November 8th. with an introductory episode all about me, about my story, so that way you guys can get to know me better. The podcast moving forward will likely always be video and audio, so the video will always be uploaded here, but the audio will always be available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you consume your podcasts. It will obviously be there, and then the video version will always be on YouTube. Even if there's no actual video, there will always be like a video audio version also, so you'll be able to listen on YouTube as well. So make sure you're subscribed, getting notifications, so that way when a new episode drops, you'll be the first to know. But yeah, that's your little treat, your little surprise for staying to the end of this video. Make sure you're following on Instagram and TikTok, subscribed on YouTube, and I cannot wait to see you guys next.